This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Sherah English and Philip Guiry. Welcome, Sherah and Philip, to the Queen Lizzie podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. We're excited to be here.
And I'm excited to have you here. And I want you all to know that these people, my friends, my guests, have been around for a long time, and I have known them and where they work and what they do and all of the good things they do for Alachua County that we're going to share with you today. Not only Alachua County, it's for people, what they do for people. And how long have I been knowing you?
Almost 5 years now.
Almost 5 years. He did my first interview
Yeah.
with Freddie Weeby.
Yep. We worked with Freddie and we did stuff with
Meldon Law.
Meldon Law.
Jeffrey
Meldon
Mel-
Law.
yes,
Yep, that was
Meldon
before
Law.
this podcast.
Yes.
Back when you were just a guest before you were a host.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we've done a lot. We've done videos for Rosewood Foundation.
Yes.
We did your birthday party.
Yes.
We've done we've done a lot together.
And you have gone out to Rosewood, and we have walked the property of Rosewood and
Yep.
Archer,
And Archer, yeah.
where
yeah.
I live.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
we are going to put the museum.
Yes, we did the museum with the train track back there.
Yes.
And that is that's the day where your husband
Yes.
had his little snake shooting gun on his hip. And I did anything he asked me to do because I was like, you know what? It's just 22, but if Mr. John says go stand over there, I go stand over there. So that's fine by me.
Okay. Okay. It was fun. Was that the year? That was the time when FIU came up from Miami, Florida International.
I wasn't there for the FIU, but it was
Okay.
It was the very first tour you did of the property in Archer.
Okay. Yeah.
But with the Rosewood property down near on the way to Cedar Key.
Yeah, in Rosewood. Yes, we did.
That one we went through the house.
Yes, we did.
It still has a bullet in the floor.
Yes. Yes.
And then we walked through the back trying to find where the train tracks were and the depot and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was very interesting because I'd known about Rosewood for many years.
Okay.
And then to actually see it, and not just see it, but see it with someone who knows about it.
Yes.
Obviously, like you know about it.
Right.
It's a whole completely different perspective on the situation, on the the history of it. Because
Yes.
I went to UF for history.
Okay.
So I knew all about it, and just growing up
Okay.
in Florida, is in the '90s the movie came out, and then you learn about
97.
you learn about the actual history, and then it goes from there. So anyway, that was probably one of the best days I had at the job, was just being out there and just seeing it, and
Right.
not just seeing it through your eyes.
Right. And it was like you knew about it, then you were reliving it live, live. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. And that's what I do daily is I keep the history of Rosewood alive because my mom said, you must tell the story, you must research, tell the truth. Do not accuse or attack anyone for what happened because Rosewood is history.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I do. I don't know how well I do it. Oh, yes, I do. I do it extremely well.
Yeah,
You do.
You do. And you've done it well for how many years? 60 years? 50 years?
42 years plus.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it has not been a happy journey, but I'm satisfied because I've met so many people like you all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you have the same concern and the same interests that I have. We must leave this history for the next generation to carry it forward. We can't change it.
Absolutely.
It's history.
Yes.
And I have met you, Sherry. No, I couldn't say. However, on a different plane. Okay, you are
Right.
with the bread
Of the mighty.
of the mighty, and she does an outstanding job. And I want you to share with us your goals and what you do and how you connect with the community.
Absolutely. We're very lucky at Bread of the Mighty. One of the best parts of the job is that we get to help support close to 200 agencies that are doing their work. So we have battered women's shelters, we have after school programs for low income students. We have lots of different churches and organizations that are reaching out to the community, and we get to be a small part of each one of those. And even being with Rosewood, just being
Yes.
able to help provide food for people in the community that need it is such an important thing to me. If I'm going to spend my day working, I want to spend it working for something that's going to make a difference.
Exactly. And I have been with the Bread of the Mighty for about 5 years also.
Right. Yes.
Okay, and people don't know that. But yes, you all have just been there to support the community and support families, and I love that. And you were telling me about some of the projects. 200, you said almost?
Yeah,
Close to
close to
200.
200 different agencies and
Yes.
programs and different community advocacy groups that we get to work with on a regular basis.
Wonderful. And I didn't know this, but this is very, very interesting to hear.
The important part too, I think, is it's not just Alachua County; it's 4 different counties. So
Okay.
we get into Archer, we get into outside of Gainesville and Alachua County, which is there are enough people here,
Right.
but outside of this county where there's not as many resources.
Yes.
we're-
Levy County is one of them,
Levy
right?
County, yep.
Yes.
And that's where Rosewood is located, in Levy County. Okay, so see how we are connecting and interconnecting.
That's
okay?
right.
And using our resources, pulling people together. And that's what I want. Rosewood, the ugly history, but I want to pull people together and forget
Yeah.
about what's done. Okay, and let's work together to make it better. And we can do that.
Absolutely.
We are doing that. And I am so involved in everything. And this weekend, I spent my time in Hollywood with my sorority. And we are involved with several initiatives. We do social justice. We do some of the things that you just talked about. Schools. We adopted school, cancer research. We do it all. And we had an outstanding, very interesting meeting in Hollywood this past weekend, and I'm wearing my Zeta. I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta sororities, and I want my sorors out there to hear me and see me in all of this pretty blue. And if I need to stand up just so that you can see that it says born Phi Zeta Phi Beta, I was also born talented.
Yes.
To make sure I carry this work on for my mom. That's what I am doing. So it's not about being born fine. I was born gifted so that I can make sure we continue the history of our in America. And I want my sorors out there to know that I need your help. Okay, I can't do this by myself. So I need help from you. So reach out and reach in and help us make sure we do the right thing by people.
I would like to point that we are all wearing blue.
Yeah.
I know.
In support of your.
And you know what, y'all? We didn't plan this.
Right.
I will say that I've worn this exact same outfit for almost a decade, so I was showing up like this regardless. But there was a time where the flannel was red, but generally for the last couple years it's been blue. So.
Why do you wear this?
I joke.
There is a reason for you.
There is a reason.
Okay.
I get up in the morning and I decide which hat I'm gonna wear.
Okay.
So I have a lot of hats. I don't know why. I have 200 plus hats.
Okay.
I don't wear them all, but I have them.
And one shirt.
No, I have a drawer. I have a drawer full of black T-shirts and a closet full of flannels. But I decide what hat, and that's the only decision I have to make all day. I go to work, someone tells me what to do.
Okay.
I come home, my wife tells me what to do. It's an
Okay.
easy life, man.
And your daughter?
She definitely tells
she
me.
She is in control, isn't she?
She is 100%. She thinks she's 3. You think she's 30. The way she tells me to do things. Oh man, she's
okay.
But yeah, so that it's just a simple way to do. Simple way to be. I don't have to think about what I'm wearing.
Okay.
I don't have to think about whether it looks good or not. It doesn't look good, but that's fine. It's what I'm
Oh,
wearing.
it looks good. It looks good. It represents you.
And
it's who you are.
Yeah.
And it's at one point in my life it was helpful because then I could I had a more public facing job, and so people would see me and like, oh, you're that guy. I'm like, I'm that guy. So if you see me, I'm probably wearing this.
But that's okay.
Yeah, but now now that I've transitioned to the food bank.
Yes.
And now that it's important, people will be like, hey, you're the guy from the food bank. I'm the guy from the food bank.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's kind of like being like Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
You see a cartoon character always wearing the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
So there is a little thought behind it, but mostly it's just this is. But
it's who you are.
Yes. The unfortunate part is if it's a wedding, a funeral, a party, or a day at work, I'm probably showing up like this.
Okay.
Is that how he came to your birthday party?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. It was indeed. It was indeed.
Yeah. And we had a wonderful time.
Good.
We did. And
I
then
danced the night away, didn't I?
I was surprised at how late everybody went because I was tired, and I am at least 5 years younger than you are. So I was like, "Ooh, it's time to go." It was a wild party. And then and then I ended up just working the elevator for like the last hour and a half because the button one broke.
Right.
So I had an hour and a half of just elevator pitches. I had a couple jokes, Don't ride the elevator too often because I only had 3 jokes. So by the third time, you're like, I've heard this one before. So.
And the food was delicious. If you have not eaten at Steve Spurrier, please do. Each weekend there is a brunch.
Yeah, buffet too.
Buffet, yes.
Yeah.
From 11 to 3.
11 to 3.
Saturdays and Sundays. Please, if you haven't patronized, come out and eat and tell them I sent you. But don't tell them I'm going to pay for it. Just say
that was our plan.
Just say Liz said it was the best. It's the best. Yeah. And also don't forget about Jeffrey Meldon. Jeffrey has been with us, as you just said. Yep. He interviewed me.
Yep.
Before I got my. Is this my show?
This is your show.
Okay. Before I.
He showed you the ropes. And Sherah was actually a guest on Jeffrey Meldon's episode.
Right.
Yeah, I've been on his podcast twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to have to get together and bring Jeffrey on with us.
That would be great.
That would be great.
I would suggest that Sherah gets a podcast. I think she needs a Bread of the Mighty podcast.
Exactly.
I think Philip has the perfect voice for podcasting.
Oh no. Yeah, but I got a face for radio, so I need to if you're listening on Spotify, you're like, oh, this guy sounds good. If you watch it on YouTube or Facebook, you're like, that guy needs to change his shirt. But Sherah gets a podcast. I think she can spout out and she can raise money for the food bank. I'll just come visit
you whenever I feel
the message is out.
Okay.
You need a podcast. Do y'all hear? She needs a podcast because you do so much with the community. 200 what?
Partners and organizations.
Yes.
And how many pounds of food is that?
So typically we give out about 6 million pounds of food in a year to the community. Really? And that's with a staff of 19. So we really rely on our volunteers a lot. So if you're in the Gainesville area and you'd like to volunteer, that's what Philip's job is now. So call him and we'd love to have you come in and just help us sort food and get it out to the community. Now, what's great about us is if food comes in, it's not safe for humans, we give it to hog farmers. We try to keep everything out of landfills and give it back to the community in one way or another.
Okay, I'll take some bread for my goats.
All right, come on.
They love bread and Tootsie Rolls.
No, really?
They love candy.
That's awesome.
I'm the newest member of the food bank, and we have these big things of bread. And I said, what do we do with all this bread?
Really?
And what I was told with no context was just hog man coming. And I was like,
oh, well, I will be the hog man.
Yeah.
I remember I'll get bread for my goats and donkeys. Donkeys like bread too.
Oh, nice.
Yes, if you don't have any corn.
But yeah, it's interesting being the news person because I've never worked in the nonprofit, and I've never, but like, so we went to Bronson last Friday, and it's a 45-minute drive from Gainesville to there, and we served over 160. No, I'm sorry, over 120 cars, and each one had, you could maybe 2 families per car, so that's a lot of people we were feeding. But I was like, this is really nice. But we had a guy drive up. He's from D.C., visiting his parents in South Florida, or South Central Florida, and he drove up an hour and a half just to volunteer.
Wow.
Really?
We had two kids who were at UF who were
Right,
required.
I was about to say the students.
Yeah.
There are high school students that need extra credit or volunteer
Yeah. There's a
hours.
lot of volunteers, and with the summertime coming up, it's it's the perfect time. It's a 2-hour shift. 9 to 11 or 1 to 3, and it's mostly about and it's mostly air conditioned. Not the Bronson Pantry, which was very hot. But it's just nice to see people get out there with no, like, this guy he's got no school credit, he
just volunteered.
felt the need to volunteer. And so, like, as sad it is to see, like, 120 cars lined up for, with food insecurity, it's even better to see people out there with they just want to help, It's such it tells me that our community is working together.
Exactly.
Which is
And
why I love
that.
this podcast, why I love what you do with Rosewood, and why I love what Sherah's done with the food bank for
Yes.
almost a decade.
Close to 8 years.
Close to 8 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's about time for our first half. We are going to head to a quick break, and we'll be back right after a word from our sponsors.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida
and
and
America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Sherah English and Philip Guiry. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are back. Okay, we are back, and we are going to continue educating you and informing you about what we have done, what we are going to do for Rosewood. And I like talking about my mom because my mother, Teresa, was the sister to the Rosewood school teacher. And she was very interested in Rosewood because when Rosewood happened in 1923, my mother was age 20, still living at home with her parents, single. Okay, and my aunt experienced some very difficult times in Rosewood by the KKK, really. And I don't like to talk about it, but in order for you to understand, I'm going to have to tell you her story. And I'm going to make it short and brief. She was gang raped because she would not lie about her husband's whereabouts. So they kept asking her, where was your husband last night? And she would always answer to them. When I said them, the people that really harassed her because they wanted to know who the real person that raped, supposedly, Fannie Taylor. And they wanted to accuse her husband. In fact, they did accuse her husband, but each time they asked her, she said, at home with me in bed. And they continued to ask her the same question, and she always gave the same answer. He was at home with me in bed all night long. And eventually, her voice escalated, and they thought she was being uppity. And of course, they said, "Oh, she is a uppity bee. Let's rate the bee." And they did. So when my mom, when she came home on January 4, 1923, she went to my mother's bedroom, fell across the bed, and cried, my mom said. And she only told my mom that she had been raped because back then, it was just such an embarrassment for your parents to know that you have been raped. Don't ask me why, but she felt embarrassed, however, and she felt guilty. So my mom said to me, "You got to keep sister," my mom called her sister, her name was, or is, Mahulda Gussie Brown Carrier. And we're going to build a museum. I'll talk about that later, in honor of her. So I went to work and did what my mom asked me to do. Did I want to? Of course. I told my mom I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too painful, my mother said. If I was younger, I would do it. And I wanted to say to her, do it. But I didn't. So I'm stuck with this story for life. And I am glad I have your ears, okay, to help me through it. And you may not believe it. I know you do. But this is gratification, satisfaction, healing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's healing for me through your ears. And thank you all very much for listening. And I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, there are some things that are coming up. When I said the museum is going to be built, it's going to be built in Archer on the property my aunt, my mom, and my grandparents grew up on. We still have that property purchased in 1897 because they said, "You better not sell my property. They're not making any more." So we're putting the museum there. And the museum will be for the kids, the next generation. It's everybody's museum. And I want to see them involved. We want to bring out school kids on buses to visit the museum, pet the animals. We plan to have a petting zoo. And it's going to be for the people everywhere. Hopefully, if we were able or are able, we'll build a hotel down there. And when have the Florida games, they can come to Archer and pet the animals too during their time. But that's what I do. And my mom said, as I said, you must write a song to make sure the people will know what happened in Rosewood. Yeah. And she gave me some lines or some verses to sing for people like Rosewood, Florida, borders Highway 24, a destroyed town. No blacks live there anymore, where emptiness resides in the silent sacred breeze. Life there no more in Rosewood, only nature's moss-hung trees. That's just one verse of 13 verses that she shared with me. But to me, the most important verse is to let people know that people were not prejudiced. The Cedar Key train conductors were told to pick up in Rosewood. Standing by the tracks with a lantern, its young school teacher stood, waiting in desperation to carry out the sheriff's plan, rounding up the hidden survivors to board the midnight train. The sheriff and the store owner worked around the clock. Oh Lord, inform the train conductors just when and where to stop. Pick up the men, women, and children who were hiding out and bring them to Archer, Florida, traveling the same old route. John Walker and Bob Walker and John Wright took on a daring risk. Put the survivors on the train, Lord, and sent them off with a kiss. Notified the Gainesville families to be on the lookout for their kin. Told them the train was coming and told them exactly when. So the first stop the train was in Archer, and that's where my aunt lived, and that's where she exited the train on January 4, 1923, and her uncle was there to pick her up. He owned a taxi driver back then. I'm in a taxi cab, and the cost was 25 cents. So he took her home. Remember I said she went to my mom's bedroom? So he was there to meet her. And what make history so significant on May 25, we're going to celebrate her 131st birthday in Archer at that very same depot where
That's nice, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
love that.
yes. So I have invited our governor, and I would love for him, okay, to honor our request and be there as our keynote speaker. It's history.
Yes.
We can't change it. We
Right.
will not forget it.
Right.
I put too much work in it, y'all, and I want his lieutenant governor. If he can't be there, I want the lieutenant governor there. I want the chief of staff to get in touch with me and let me know who is going to represent Florida.
Yes.
Okay? I've worked too hard. Who is going to represent history? And I know you have money. We need money to build this museum. I'm only asking for $10 million.
I'm gonna throw another $10 million on there for the food bank then.
All right. And $10 million for the food bank.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll buy
There
a couple
you go.
extra trucks.
Okay.
and-
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, you know.
It's about us. It's about people.
Yes.
It's not about party.
Right.
Oh, you've had multiple governors involved in this before, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Lawton Child signed the.
Yes, he did.
He put the sign up out in front of the, because the grocer's house is still out on 24.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And so it's still there, and we're hoping to move it to your land.
If we had the money from the state, we could do it.
Pick it up and move it.
Pick it up and move it. It's history.
It's history, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a Lawton Child, and then Jeb Bush came out and talked.
Jeb Bush came out and dedicated the Rosewood marker
There you
on
go.
the day of May
Nice.
4th, 2004, 10 years to the day from the time the governor signed the bill,
Yeah.
Governor
Yeah.
Lawton Child,
So
That's amazing.
in
Well-
1994.
That is so great.
It is.
So yeah, it would be great to have the governor now be able to come out and join that list
Yes.
of governors that's already been a part of your program.
Exactly.
and to
Yeah.
bring $20 million, 10 for
So
you and 10
that's
for
right.
us.
I love it. We hope you hear us.
We're
I'll
gonna
get
We
you.
love-
I'll get you a Bread of the Mighty shirt.
Perfect. And I heard
Yeah.
you have good news also about Tulsa.
Yes, before I left home today, Tulsa called me. They are celebrating on June 1. They are celebrating Juneteenth and the opening of the cultural center. I don't know if it's the opening, but it's a revisit
Nice.
of the cultural center, and they want me to be the speaker, and they want me to share Rosewood and compare Rosewood to Greenwood.
Wow.
I am excited to go, and if anybody out there would like to sponsor me, just get in touch with me. LizziePRJ@AOL.com. We are in this together.
Yeah.
It is history. It's not going to change, and we know that there are funds out there for history. Let's get it on. We need it. You need 10.
I mean, I'll take 5 if that's all you got. I mean,
We'll
Okay.
negotiate. We'll
Yeah,
negotiate.
Okay.
I can't
But
get you.
we'll
I
put
can't
it to
get you a
use.
full shirt for 5 million. I get you a tank top maybe. The sleeves are that's the most expensive part of the sleeves. So
Okay.
10 million you get a shirt, 5 million you get a tank top.
Okay. And I talked with my Sigma brother, what's his name? Daniel Smith, this weekend. And Daniel Smith said to me, you all, if the governor comes to Archer, he will bring his entire team
Wow.
to Archer.
That's great.
So we can make this happen.
Yes.
We need it to start at the top, follow in the footprints, the solid footprints of Lawton Child and Jeb Bush. And I also wrote to Mrs. Barbara Bush when 2004, she sent me the most interpretive letter about how much she loves history and thanked me for preserving history.
Wow.
So I've written to a lot of people, and they most of them responded positively.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to hear from our current Governor Ron DeSantis staff. We need you, Governor. We need your support. This is not about me.
Right.
It's not about you. It's about Florida's history. And I don't know if I should have said that. Well, I said it. I can't change it. I think I meant it. It's about history. It's about our children. Okay? And we need to make sure our children get and hear the truth. And I tell the truth. And I think I do quite well.
I was gonna say, I think it's the amount of work you put in, and the length of time you put in. I think you can say whatever you want. You can just say you want. I mean, just say it. What are they gonna do?
Well,
They gonna manage you?
Okay.
At this point, just say it.
Well, I did.
Which is what I do, but I don't have that right. I haven't worked as hard or as long as you have, and I just say whatever I want, and that's why I don't have many friends. That's why.
Well, you have me.
That's why I brought Sherah, because I was like, I'm gonna go do this podcast. And Sherah was like, nah, I don't think so. I don't know what you're about to say on there. So we brought Sherah, who knows everything about the food bank, who knows the stats. She's been there 8 years. She almost runs the whole thing. I mean, honestly, she was gone one day, and it almost fell apart. So you need Sherah to run things, and make sure I don't act like I've got your privileges of saying what I want, because I will take them even though I haven't earned them.
Well,
but you have earned them, so you say what you want, man.
Yeah. And
Also, this is the Queen Lizzie podcast.
Yes, indeed. But it has been educational.
I
Informative.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, getting the history out there, getting the messages out there, and getting a food bank. People need to know about the food bank.
I mean, it's interesting because, and again, and Sherah can jump in because she knows 1,000% more than I do. But like it's such a simple need, and it's not an easy fix, but I mean, money's a fix, because for every dollar, how many people can we feed?
We can do 7 meals for every dollar.
7 meals for every dollar.
And that really is because we can get reclaim trucks from different centers, and all we have to do is pay for shipping. So if you go to a grocery store and you buy, you're not going to get the same amount of purchasing power that we have.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And we need purchasing power now if we have never needed it before.
Yes,
I don't know what $5 million times 7 is, but that's 35 million meals probably.
He hasn't forgotten a
I
tip.
know.
I know, we're gonna go later.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're writing checks, I'll just stand in line. That's
All
fine.
right,
That's
all
fine.
right.
So.
Okay. It has been a joy. It has been a pleasure. Okay, working and talking with both of you today, and thank you all for coming in. So until next time, don't forget, go to rosewoodflorida.com, make a donation toward the museum, make a donation for scholarship. That's Rosewood, Florida, FLORIDA.com. Until then. Okay, I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode. I am Queen Lizzie. Until next time, this is my Rosewood story, and I'm sticking to it. Bye.